Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. We'll try to cover a couple different things in this video. This is from the IPCC from August 8th. That's yesterday. Warning flag: IPCC finds rapid land warming threatens food security. Does it now? Hey. I always feel like somebody's calling me. Remember that song? I think it was Watching Me. I'm just mixing it up, guys. Temperatures over the world's land areas are warming at about twice the global rate, expanding deserts in Australia, Africa, and Asia, and hitting food security hard. A new UN report finds. This is what we know is happening, and that's very scary. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change found that surface air temperatures between 2006 and 2015 were 1.53 degrees warmer than the pre-industrial average of 1850 to 1900. By contrast, the combined warming of land and oceans was 0.87 degrees. The IPCC's special report on land said, compared with current conditions, though, land areas have warmed by about 1.8 degrees and global mean temperatures by 1.1 degrees, said Stefan Rahmstorf from the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research. Climate change, including increases in frequency and intensity of extremes, has adversely impacted food security and terrestrial ecosystems, as well as contributed to desertification and land degradation in many regions, the report's summary for policymakers said. The report, compiled by 107 authors from 52 nations, 107 authors, that's a lot of scientists, way more than 5. Tony Heller, for 52 nations and released in Geneva on Thursday, noted humans typically relied on land for their homes and the great bulk of their food, fiber, and feed for animals. Mark Howden, director of the Climate Change Institute, another scientist that's not in the top 5. Institute at Australian National University and the IPCC vice chair said the report was a warning flag about the threats and how hard we need to go to cut greenhouse gas emissions. Yeah. And in the Roger Hallam video that I linked yesterday, he talks about how land areas are going to warm. He talked about an eventual scenario where, if we get to 2 degrees or whatever, over 2 degrees, and, land temperatures are going to be much higher than that, like 4 degrees, and you can't grow food. It will be virtually impossible to grow food at 4 degrees if you're not indoors or something or underground. So I'm not going to read any more of this article because I'm going to move on. I will link it below. But this is obviously a real problem. I wanted to bring up, there's a couple people, I don't know what happened to Void. Void, if you're out there, I hope you're not commenting because of the video that I covered the other day. The person was trying to claim that you were being paid to comment, which you are not. Obviously, I was joking about that. But there's no actual problem with you commenting at any moment in time. So if you feel like for some reason that if you feel like I was saying that you shouldn't be commenting, I didn't say that, or I hope nobody else did. So hope that you were doing okay, Void, and come on back. Also, I haven't seen anything from Robin Data in quite a while. Robin Data used to send me a lot of emails, a lot of articles, and he has not. I think it's been at least a month or 2 months, and I haven't seen his name in the comment section for a while. I hope that Robin Data is doing okay. If you're out there, Robin, or if you're listening, I hope you're all right. So where to go? I want to cover this article because it's a little it's definitely frightening. And this is, just a sign of the times that things are going to get even weirder. Conspiracy theories pose a new domestic terrorism threat, according to a secret FBI document. So that headline has quite a bit in it. Just in the headline, basically they're going to, or they already have linked conspiracy theories to domestic terrorism. And domestic terrorism is a thing. It definitely happens, and we have these mass shootings spurred on by whatever it is, by racist sentiment, or by white nationalism, or by anti-Semitism. And we also have domestic terrorism against the black population as well, right? There's just a whole bunch of domestic terrorism. People are being terrorized. The entire black community is being terrorized by the police constantly. So that's a form of domestic terrorism to me. Black and brown people are terrorized in greater numbers than white people. So you want to include that as domestic terrorism. But the term domestic terrorism is something that is a super slippery slope, because, try saying that 5 times fast. It's a problem because as soon as you can just start painting things as domestic terrorism, right? Not just actions, but talk about anything. If somebody's talking about a conspiracy theory and they've been painted with the domestic terrorism label. So we're going down the road of being shut down, having independent voices being shut down, alternative voices being shut down. I don't believe in anybody's right to hate speech or actions that are hateful or violent, but I do believe in the First Amendment, and I do believe that people have the right to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about, or say whatever it is they want to say, and then be judged accordingly by their speech. Anyways, let's read a little bit of this. A previously unseen FBI document obtained by Yahoo News warns that conspiracy theories pose a new domestic terrorism threat. The FBI assesses anti-government. Is this channel anti-government? Well, is XR anti-government? If you're a climate change activist and you're a part of XR, and you're telling the government to tell the truth, are you a conspiracy theorist? Identity-based. If you're Black Lives Matter, La Raza, whatever, if you are part of any group that is promoting equal rights for your identity-based, so I don't know, that's broad. Fringe political conspiracy theories. So, that's a wide umbrella. Very likely to motivate some domestic extremists, wholly or in part to commit criminal and sometimes violent activity. The document said the FBI further assesses, in some cases, that conspiracy theories very likely encourage the targeting of specific people, places, and organizations, thereby increasing the likelihood of violence against these targets. Unless you are part of the government, or you're a politician, or you're a wealthy person, and in that case, you can do whatever you want. You can engage in any of these activities. You can engage in any kind of illegal kind of things, and you can abuse people and do all kinds of crazy stuff, but you're fine if you're wealthy enough or powerful enough. The document continues to say that the Bureau reached its conclusion with high confidence. There's a phrase that they like to say. With high confidence means we think very strongly, but, we may or may not have all the evidence. This is not totally certain. And based on information it obtained from other federal agencies, open source information, court documents, FBI investigations, and human sources. If you think that your elections are being tampered with or are being treated unfairly, if you feel like the media is biased, or you feel like the government uh, some government entities might be in league with the media in disinforming the American people. Does that make you a conspiracy theorist or a domestic terrorist? Uh, Anyways, I go on to list, a few of the things that they're looking: Pizzagate, uh, QAnon, HARP. So chemtrailers, HARP people, that you're crazy. New World, anybody who talks about the New World Order, anybody who has listened to or sounds any bit like Alex Jones. Oh, here's an interesting one. Anybody who believes in the Spygate conspiracy theory. And that's really crazy because that actually looks like that's a real thing perpetrated by whom? The FBI. So the FBI is saying if you don't, if you question possible illegal activities by the FBI, you're a conspiracy theorist. This is insane. This is totally insane. And of course, you can link anything to being a Trump supporter or anything. So if you deny any allegation that's lobbed, like Trump is super terrible and horrible and obviously needs to go away really, really fast, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can say or do, say anything about him and it's true. You can kind of just do, case in point, Russiagate or this Spygate, which is linked to Russiagate, looks like it was some kind of illegal spying on the Trump campaign, which is not cool. I mean, Trump is not clearly not a good person and not a great person as a president. However, if you do things like this, spy on him or do something to his campaign illegally, that just gives him more power. And it also kind of messes up everybody's minds because, because if you question the story, then you're a Trump supporter, which is not true. Lots of people on the left, lots of progressive channels are questioning the story. Or just calling it an outright lie, which we're talking about Russiagate, I guess, right now. Which it is, and Russiagate is being used to smear anybody who's anti-establishment. It's being used in the same way that this idea is being used. It's smear anybody who's anti-establishment, anybody who says anything against the status quo or against authority or against people in power. You can just, you're a Russian bot, or you're in league with the Russians, or you're an apologist. It's being used to smear Tulsi Gabbard. All this stuff. It's just very murky, crazy, dangerous times. And so this is not good. They also talk about the internet. And I actually heard a speech in which Trump started to talk about how the internet is bad, or the things that people say on the internet. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So that means, more regulation, more censorship, more power for companies to, tell you that you can't think these thoughts or listen to these videos or watch these videos or, et cetera. Okay, lastly in this video, I'm going to link that below. You guys can check that out. Lastly in this video, comment from Malcolm Marzo. Interesting comment. James Corbett, David Icke are two prominent YouTubers with huge following because they do some excellent reporting, yet both are climate skeptics. It would be interesting if Black Bear News or subscribers would discuss this. It perplexes me. I'm not very familiar with James Corbett, but I am with David Icke. And excellent reporting. I don't know. He talks about really out there stuff, a lot of Illuminati stuff or kind of ancient or older, I guess, organizations or thought processes that have been going, have kind of shaped how human history has progressed. And, he covers a lot of area. He also talks about aliens and, whatever. But, I find some of his stuff interesting. But the thing is that, of course, they're climate skeptics because, almost everybody in the conspiracy theory thought silo, believe that climate change is a hoax. And I don't know why, because there's not, part of why this channel exists is to kind of not bridge the gap, but kind of call out the conspiracy theories on both sides of the aisle. That there are conspiracy theories that aren't based on a lot of evidence or just conjecture or just ideas that people find interesting that other people turn into like factual. We believe this. There's some conspiracy theories that have quite a bit of evidence behind them, which would make them conspiracy facts, not theories. So it's very, very important to get the language right. Are we talking about theories or are we talking about facts? There are lots of theories purported by the mainstream media that are not factual, that lots of people believe in, and hence, we have a lot of confusion in the world about what's up and what's down and what's correct and what's not. And it really is the goal and the job of not mainstream, the goal and the job of independent media to really kind of look for the facts and look for what is the truth. But anyways, so climate change skeptics seem to run rampant in the conspiracy world. And I really wish that they would get it straight. The conspiracy is not that it's a hoax. The conspiracy is that the governments and the people in power are trying not to tell you how bad it is. They're really trying to keep that fact from people. But for whatever reason, conspiracy people have picked up this, fossil fuel backed bullshit, and they're going to carry that football down the field until the very end. And I don't really get it. But yeah, I try and talk about things that are, things that are true and things that have more evidence behind them on this channel. I wish that the paradigms, the left or right thought bubbles, thought silos could get popped open once in a while, and people from the left are starting, if you're truly left and you're outside of the mainstream news bubble, then you can actually look at some things clearly. And that's why I call myself a progressive channel, and that's why I watch other progressive independent news channels, because at least they are trying to bring some things out that the mainstream media will not tell you or talk about, or will call a conspiracy theory or what have you. I don't know what to do about this, Malcolm. I'm hoping that the word about climate change can just get louder and louder, and we can kind of overwhelm those who refuse to take a look at science or facts, or use science or facts in their reasoning or in their videos or in their logic. Yeah. But anyways, I like this discussion. I hope that people will talk about it a little more in the comment section, and we'll talk about it, of course, in future videos. That's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.